I was out in this drainage, this grizzly bear. This grizzly bear, my dad's there, and I'm cow calling. Okay?
And you think the elk's coming.
I think this elk's coming.
But it's not.
It's not. I see the elk go across this ridge, right? It goes across this ridge. And then I see this brown flash go down this hill in front of me. And there's a bit of a, if you look like this brown flash has to go down this ridge and then around the corner of the spine of the ridge and stay down in the valley. I know that above me is a elk carcass freshly killed yesterday. So I'm waiting for this big bull elk. I'm looking this way. And I turn around. I look down below me, and 100 yards below me, my dad's here, I'm here, and I turn around below me, and there's a giant bear 100 yards below me. I turn all the way around. I'm like, Dad, there's a bear. There's a bear. There's a bear. There's a bear. I have my pistol right here.
Does your dad have a pistol?
He's not. He has a bow only. I have a pistol and bear spray.
Does your dad have bear spray?
He does not. At this point, he's not. So luckily, I'm between him and the bear. The bear goes down the drainage. I remember, as a hunter, mostly I'm worried about is this a black bear or a grizzly bear. I didn't know at the time. It was kind of shadowed in this ravine as it was going up. And I'm looking through the binos. I'm like, I don't know what this is. I'm not sure if it's a black or grizzly bear. Grizzly bears have a distinct hump that you're looking for that's different from a black bear. And they can be, and this black bear's sauntering down.
At the risk of making this a longer story,
Yeah.
explain why it's way more dangerous if it's a grizzly.
A black bear, you and I have experienced this in Alberta together. A black bear is not as aggressive, not as predatory. Black bear attacks are very less frequent than grizzly bear attacks. I don't know that I could explain kind of just the nature of a grizzly bear and a black bear is an omnivore in many ways. A grizzly bear is a carnivore. And in this scenario, if it was a black bear, I would be looking to shoot it rather than being afraid of it because I love black bear meat. It's delicious. And black bear fat. You've had Clay Newcomb on. You make bear grease. It's one of the best things that there is. So I guess that maybe explains the difference. And then
for people, like in comparison, it's like a golden retriever versus a wolf.
Pretty much. That's a pretty good comparison.
It's a completely different animal.
I wish there was a wild apologist to kind of really lay it out there.
He would probably say German Shepherd wolf.
Yeah, something like that.
Probably
That's
would say.
Fucker.
I'm trying to be like more comedic. But
right.
It's a different animal.
It is. And I would say that you've seen it when we were hunting bait in Alberta.
Yeah.
When a black bear comes in, you're willing to stand your ground.
We were on our way. We saw a grizzly in Alberta. When we were on our way to where we were hunting, looking eye to eye with a grizzly is wild.
It's a wild thing. And when a grizzly bear comes through a stand of timber or mountainside in this case, things go quiet.
And we didn't even, when I was in Alberta, the one I've seen in the wild was not that big. But the one you saw was big.
This is one of the biggest bears I've ever seen. I'm talking big hind end, just
Give me a roundabout.
I have no idea. I would guess it at the 6.5 to 7 feet.
Oh,
I don't know how to guess how much it weighed.
300, 350.
No, fucking way more than that.
450.
700. 600 pounds. We later found
700 pounds.
We later found the track on the road where we walk in every morning to the drainage. This little 2-track dirt road where we walk in. We found this thing's track. So it is sauntering up this drainage. And there's a moment where my mind's not in the right spot. It's in the place of, is this a grizzly bear or a black bear? And now that I look back on that moment, that bear was about 2 seconds away from ripping my face off.
Oh my God.
I'm cow calling. To that bear, I'm a cow elk. And to me, I wasn't scared. I wasn't pulling for my pistol. I was watching it as a hunter might watch any game species
thinking an elk's gonna come over the ridge.
Yeah.
And a grizzly bear. How many pounds?
Maybe 700-800 pounds. I don't know. I hope I'm not wrong about that.
Nice.
It's a big one.
Let's be nice and say 600. Imagine a 600-pound super predator.
One swat.
Running full clip towards you.
I've interviewed many people that have had their face ripped off, their testicles ripped off. I know the pure carnage that a grizzly bear like that can do, and I also know in my pack is a tourniquet and all the medical supplies a man might carry. But I'm pretty close to town. My dad's there. We have our cell phone service. We're not in the backcountry. I know at this point, when I determine it to be a grizzly bear, it's already walking up the drainage away from me. I determined it's a grizzly bear. I know then that if it turns back to us, we got a problem. But if it keeps going up the drainage, I know where it's headed. It's headed to that elk carcass that was there. And so luckily for us, it goes up the drainage. It heads over towards the elk carcass and ducks into the timber, and it's not the end of it, but that's the end of that encounter.
And you're carrying a pistol?
I have a pistol.
What caliber?
44 Magnum. A Taurus 44 Magnum ultralight. And I have a chest holster that's from a guy named Razco, a guy in Bozeman, makes this chest holster that attaches to the bottom of the FHS.
Is this a revolver?
This is a revolver. And I have bear spray on the hip belt of my.
So you can get off six shots?
I can get off 6 shots.
6 shots.
And I know, again, having been in the industry and talked to a lot of people that have had encounters, I know kind of how this is going to go. And likely how it goes is the only way you get out of it is you get mauled and the bear loses interest, or the person that's with you saves you in some manner, right?
Yeah.
There's a pretty famous...
But your dad doesn't have a gun.
He doesn't. He has a bow.
And you're in front.
I'm in front.
Oh.
So I'm between these two. And again, this is...
Is your pistol in... Is it... You have to open up a snap to pull it out?
No,
or is it
it's
in
fully,
Kydex or something?
It's fully in a molded holster that I can pull out and present.
Right.
Easy. It'll be double action because I don't have it cocked.
And do you have a thought when that's happening where he might run away, but if I shoot him, he might attack me?
Yeah, I mean, as
there's like a calculation, right?
Yeah, and again, as a hunter, I'm more interested in what is this thing doing, why is it here, than I am like I should run away.
Right.
And that is, I think, both appropriate and also probably not the best thing to be doing, man. Like you should probably be.
Can you remember what you thought? Like what went through your head when you realized it wasn't an elk, and it was a giant grizzly bear?
Finally.
Finally.
Yeah. Because you are in the country where you know. Dude, I've been out in June setting a trail camera and heard a wolf howl. I told you, I talked to the game warden. He's like, there's bears around. And so the thing that you do is you prepare for the worst, and you really, really prepare for the worst. And I did it knowing that there's folks that I've talked to, like I said, that have had really life-changing experiences. One of them in Kodiak, a brown bear ripped off his testicles. One of them in Alaska, a brown bear, I think grizzly bear, ripped off his face. And so I know these stories. I know them all too fucking well.
There's a video of that one guy.
Yeah.
Pretty recently.
Glenn Bond.
Yeah. How many, 4 or 5 years ago, right?
It would have been back in, roughly
whatever,
that.
Give or take a few years.
Yeah.
That one is available online. It's horrendous.
Kind of, yeah. They keep pulling it offline.
They put his face back together again. Pretty good.
I have the full... I talked to that guy. I know that guy very well, and I have the full story of that. You can listen to it on the Hunting Collective. There's a podcast with Brett Bond.
Yeah, I listened to it.
It's amazing. It's a whole nother show, probably. But
it's like that's one of those conversations where like a vegan or an animal rights activist would be like, good.
Some people might say that.
Some people might say that. Like, I'm glad that fucking bear
and people said that
about
Brett Bond and his father Glenn.
Yeah,
who
they
was
did.
attacked. There was a lot of people saying, like, because they were hunting bears at the time, and they were hunting bears in their den on the Denali Highway in Alaska.
Yeah.
And so people were like, good, you hunt them in their den, that's what happens. And again, and that's where I come back to the emotion of finally, because so much of my hunting life in Montana has been anticipation of those encounters.
And that was the first ever?
With a bear, with a grizzly bear, yeah.
Wow.
Well, not the first ever in my life. First ever in Montana. I was once on a caribou hunt up in Northwest Territories. they helicopter you out into the middle of nowhere, and then you have I think a 12-hour delay before you can hunt once you've been helicoptered into the wilderness. I think it's 12 or 24 hours, but you have a delay before you can hunt. So you literally have to sit there and wait. And we were there at a time in August when there was no darkness. It was literally light pretty much the entire 24-hour day. And so we sat on a ridgeline, and we were glassing for caribou in the period where we couldn't hunt. And here comes this sow grizzly bear down this drainage. Every bush that she went by, whack! Every piece of moss, she just whack! Just crushed. She was upset. She's having a bad day. Whether her cub got taken or she was just in a predatory mood, it was. I remember glassing her with a spotting scope, going like, "Hope she doesn't come over here." And we were sitting on kind of a.
Is that normal behavior when like a cub gets eaten by a boar?
I don't know if that's normal behavior. I imagine it to be.
For folks who don't know, that happens a lot, and the females try to fight the boar off.
I imagine it to be. I imagine them to be aggressive in the times that they need to be, but I don't know enough to know if that's like every time a cub gets eaten, she goes out and whacks the shit out of the next thing she sees. I don't know that, but in this case, this sow was alone. She was not. She didn't look all that mature, but she was going down this drainage. Just everything she saw, she was hitting. And I thought, well, if she comes by me,
you're fucked.
I'm fucked.
Yeah.
And we were kind of on what we would call a glass and tit, which is kind of a raised up ridge, and glassing. And she got at some point below us where we couldn't see her.
What a terrifying idea of a mad grizzly, like a road raging grizzly.
You're like, dude, oh. And then
that's
you think
what that
like,
is. It's like someone just fucking fuck you. And
where do grizzlies live, right? The grizzlies don't live by the urgent care. Right. They live in places where if they whack you,
you're fucked.
You're fucked unless your friend knows how to.
If they break both your legs, you have to crawl to safety.
Right.
If you can.
So in the examples of Brett Bond, who we were just talking about, he saved his father. His father got his face ripped off by a grizzly bear. He comes running down the hill with his .454 Casull, shoots this bear, bang, 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 kills it. It actually, I was reading some of his accounts of the hunt. He measured 5.5 feet from his bootstrap to where the bear died when he was defending his father's life. His father had been attacked.
Oh my God! How much did the bear weigh?
The bear is now in Glenn Bond, who's 70. He's probably in his 80s now. Is in his living room. He got it mounted, full standing mount, and it's in his living room. I bet that bear weighed 800 plus pounds easy. And again, apologies for getting that wrong if that's the case. But
we got to wrap this up. But before we wrap this up, how does that bear story end? Is that it?
Yeah, the bear leaves and goes to eat that elk carcass.
How close were you at the closest time?
80 yards. Toward death.
How many seconds would it take for a bear to sprint at you from 80 yards?
2.
Do you think you'd have time to pull the gun?
Well, we did a whole thing with Clay Newcomb, if you look on the old Meat Eater YouTube, where we tried to figure out how quickly you could draw your bear spray or your pistol.
Not so quick.
Not so quickly.
Not so quick.
I probably would have gotten mauled. But again, that's the reality of the world in which we live, Joseph. Rogan.
That's a nice thing to say if you don't get mauled. If you do get mauled, you should say, I should take up roller skating.
Yeah, if you don't get mauled, you're like, ah!
If you don't get mauled, you're like, I am going roller skating from here on out.
I'm going to take up crochet.
Yeah. Like if you got mauled and you had the opportunity to not get mauled, you're like, yeah, I'm going to do something else.
I'm going to keep my face.